welcome to this tutorial about Searchlight. Searchlight, as you can see from this here, is a specialized disk network search engine, and what it does, it searches the content of files on a local area network. It doesn't search files over the internet, but it searches files locally to your personal hard disk or any network drive that you're connected to. There is a distributed search feature that I'll be demoing in another tutorial that shows you how to search remote machines that are connected on the network. But that's a demo for another day. Okay. When you install Searchlight, this banner up here tells you the edition, the max hosts that you're allowed to search, and the max threads for this particular machine is 500. These are all license details that can be found in the license. As you can see here, host is set to 50, max host is set to 500. And if you receive a new license, then you may be asked to update this key, maybe change the dates, maybe change some information in here, and then update the license file. And obviously this key has to match the details in here, otherwise it won't update. So let's do a quick search on Searchlight so you can see how it works. Okay, local search is the default one. When we select that, this screen comes up, and this screen is a common screen for all search types. So any search that you do, they're all based from this screen. So let's see, I have a test search here. I'm going to search a directory of random text files. These text files in this directory are text files downloaded as general test data from the internet. I don't believe that they have the information in these files is valid. I think it's all made up, and it's just basically test data, and there's 1,000 files in that directory, and we're going to search. Let's say we're going to search, as it's Christmas time, let's say we're going to search for the word Christmas, and away we go. So the first thing Searchlight does, it initializes, and in this case it'll be initializing 35 active, and it's finished already. It was initializing 35 active threads, and you can have as many threads as you want, and what the number of threads dictates is the number of files that can be searched in parallel. So with 35 threads, I'm actually opening and searching 35 files in parallel on this machine. So each thread represents an individual, what I call a searchlet, and it spawns a searchlet, and that searchlet will search the file according to the search definition. And the more threads you have, obviously the more files can be searched in parallel. But each machine has its own sweet spot. And obviously if I was to put in here 500 threads on this machine, the machine would choke and it would be too much for it. So you have to experiment with the number of threads, and that number of threads can be anything up to 500. Okay, on this one it's found a file with Christmas in it, so we'll select the result, and here we go, Christmas. This is a word I've embedded in one of these files, and it's found it in the file 360. So if we double click that, it'll actually bring the file up, and then we can search for Christmas. I may at a later date highlight the findings in the file, but it doesn't do that at the moment. So you find Christmas in there, and it's only once, and there we go. Okay, now notice that is a capital C there. Okay, so just going to show you a little bit different of a search here. If we make that case sensitive, and we change that to a small c, then I would expect it not to find that. And there we go, 1,000 files is searched just like that, and it didn't find it. Okay, now this log file gives you a complete breakdown of the search, so all the details you need are there. That was searching 333 files in a second. Now each one of those files is quite big, really, amount of data in them. We saw one of the files. So it's searching 1,000 files like that. 333 files a second. If we do that again, We'll call up the file and I'll show you how much data is in each file. Okay, so let's do that again. Oh, of course we can't show you this one because it didn't find any. Okay, so this time we have to take the case sensitivity off to make sure that it finds the one with Christmas in it. And then we can have a look at the size of that file so you can get an appreciation of how much data is being searched. So the program is searching 1,000 files. Each of those files has this much data in it, and it's searching 333 of those files every second, which is quite amazing, really. It really is. So anyway, you get a let's pick something that I know it's going to find a lot of. Now I know that I think there's Santa Clara is in there as an address, so we'll search that and it should find a lot of these. Okay, it found 1,000 files and it missed 2,600 search words found. So it loaded quite a lot of data there because it found the word Santa Clara and all the files have that address in. Because these are all American addresses in these files. So you can see, now what that did in that short time, each one of these, as you can see down here, is a different file pretty much. And what the program's done, it's gone into each one of these files, it's opened it up, it searched it, it found the word Clara, or Santa, sorry, and it extracted a bit of text to the left and a bit of text to the right and put it in this list box. And it, that would have slowed it down a little bit. If we do that again, we can have a look at the statistics. Still pretty quick, to be honest. That's 1,000 files. And if we look at the log file, you can see all down here, it found Santa 3 times. And if we go down the bottom here, now that was processing 200 files a second. That's still pretty good. That's 200 files a second. And it's got to extract text out of that file and put it into another file in order to build this report file at the same time. So the search algorithm that's being used is a highly specialized and highly tuned search algorithm that's specially designed for this type of work, and it's proprietary. It is a proprietary search algorithm. On this data here, you can represent it in decimal, hexadecimal, CSV format, so you can load it to a spreadsheet. Get the file names out, just the file names if that's all you're interested in. Okay, and go back to the characters and etc. Now if we notice on here that a lot of these have 408 as the telephone number. I think most of them have 408. Just trying to find one that we can get rid of. So if we want to get rid of everything that's, I'm just trying to use the filter button for you. So if we want to get rid of these, for instance, what we can do is we can filter and we can take out everything in this list that has Sonoma in it. So we click that and the list is now reduced. So what you can do, if you have a lot of these things, you can start reducing the list down so you can actually get to what you really want to look at. So if we take these out as well, the list will start to get smaller and smaller. If you ever want to reset the list, just reset the list and then you get the whole lot come back again. It's just a way of reducing the list. Okay, so that's Santa. So on the compound, this compound section here allows you to tie in up to 5 words that are going to be associated with this. So on here, for instance, if we were to say, well, let's stick with Santa, and let's say we want to be Santa and we want the word Christmas. Now we know there's only one file with Christmas in there. We know they all have Santa, but there's only one file with Christmas. So if we search that, we should actually find one file. And there we go, we found one file. Yes, okay, we found one file. These are both in the same file. but it found Santa Maria and it found Santa Rosa in the same file, because this file name doesn't change down the bottom. So these are both in the same file. If we look at the log file now, so it found Santa twice, and there were 2 finds in that file. Santa was the main word, and it was not case sensitive. That's why there's a minus there. This compound word was enabled, and it was also case sensitive, and it made the find, and that was processing 200 files a second. So if we go back to this definition and we say that we make that case sensitive and we make it a small c, then it shouldn't find it this time. And there we go, it didn't find anything, which is what we would expect. So these compound search words down here are quite useful. So what we're going to do is make it more complicated now. I'm going to take this sensitivity off. I'm going to search for the words Christmas, which should find me one file. I'm going to edit that file, and in here I'm going to put the word 1, and on the next line I'm going to put the word 2. This is just to keep it simple. 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to save that away now. Okay. So what that means now, I'm looking for the Santa. It must have Christmas. I'm also going to look for the search word 1. I'm going to look for the search word 2 and the search word 3 and the search word 4. I did 5, but I'm only going to use 4 because I've got Christmas in there. Yeah, so okay, 4. Well, actually we don't need Christmas now because I've got 1, 2, 3 and 4, so we'll have all of these. We'll take off case sensitive because I'm not sure how I did that. So let's search that now. Now hopefully it'll only find one file, and there it is. It's found one file with the word Santa. You look at the log file now, you'll see that there's the definition there. So they're all they're not case sensitive, okay, and they're all anded, okay, rather than knotted. So we exit that now. Okay, and I'm going to save this. So let's say this, we're going to call this a compound search, and we're going to save that so we can call it back later on. Okay. By the way, if you want to load a previous search, we just go here and all the previous searches are there. So there's our compound search that we just saved. Okay, so at a later date I can preload that screen by loading it from here. So if I load this, for instance, this is a different search. And if I go back to our compound search, then it loads that compound search. So it's just a quick way of saving your search definitions and bringing them back. It's a very useful feature. So let's play around with this a little bit now. So let's go and find that file again. But this time I'm going to make one of these. I'm going to say not, okay? But I need to find the file first, okay? So let's go back and call that file up. And it's just as quick to let the search engine find it as it is to me to go and load it in File Explorer. Windows Explorer, okay, so let's call that file up. Okay, now in here somewhere I've got to find these words, and there it is there. Okay, so the 3, let's say I make 3 capitalized. So 5, 4, 2 and 1 are all lowercase, but 3 is uppercase. So what I can do now with 3, I can say it must be case sensitive. Now this should not find it now, because it's going to look for the word Santa, all of these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but because 3 is in uppercase, and I said I only want to look for it when it's in uppercase, it shouldn't find it. So let's give that a go. There you go, it hasn't found it. So this just proves how sensitive Searchlight is and how powerful it is. and you can see there we have a difference here, sorry. So we're saying here that this is case sensitive where the others are not, and the plus sign means that it's ANDed and not knotted. Okay, so there we go, that shows you the case sensitivity aspect. If we go to not, okay, and not 3, but this time it will find it, but because we said we don't want 3, what we're saying now is that we want Santa. We want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but we want 1, 2, 4 and 5, but not 3. But because the file has 3 in it, it shouldn't find it, because we're saying it must not be 3. So let's give that a go, and that shouldn't find it. And now a lot of programs on the market do this sort of thing, but they do it through a thing called real expressions. Now real expressions are quite complicated string definitions on searches, and for a lot of people who are using search programs on a daily basis, they don't understand real expressions. They're not interested in them, and why should they be? They're too complicated. So this is why I've developed this mechanism of this compound feature. It means that you don't really need to use real expressions. You can just use this compound feature, which is quite nice. So as we saw there, it didn't find it. Okay, now if I put that back to and it's not case sensitive this time it should find it. So this gives you a an idea on how to play around with the compound matching. Very, very powerful. Okay, so now we did find it, etc. So that gives you an idea on how to use the search features. Now on the search features themselves, another powerful feature that well, I've not seen another program that does this, but on here you've got a signature, and what this means here is this signature allows you to put ASCII values in here for characters. Now each character in the computer is represented by a number. Typically in the ASCII world it's the numbers are between 0 and 255. So for instance, a tab character on the keyboard is represented by a 9, and a carriage return is represented by a 13, and a line feed is by 10, and a full stop is by 34, etc. So if you wanted to search that byte sequence within a file somewhere, and that byte sequence can be anywhere in the file from start to end, Searchlight will open that file and search it in a binary fashion, which means it will search every single byte in that file looking for that sequence. And then the search is the same as I've just demoed with all the compound features and everything else. And actually each one of these can be a signature as well if you wish. You can mix and match the search words with the signatures. Again, which is a very powerful and unique feature. There isn't another program I'm aware of that does this type of search, which is very useful. Okay, so on the config here, on this config button, it's another thing I'll show you. Searchlight has about 300 different configuration options. I'll just quickly show you those. If you go to the configuration option up here and you view the current configuration, let's say we view it. This is the current configuration file, which is searchlight.ini, and here are all the configuration options that you can set within the program. Excuse me. So there's quite a lot of configuration that you can do, and obviously all these are documented in the help file, but basically there's a hell of a lot there. I think it's about nearly 200 or so. But when you go into the local search, let's load that search back. When you go into the config button, it gives you a window into just a few of those search options, and these search options are the ones that you probably use regularly, which is why they're there. Okay, and as you can see here, when we run the program, it was running with 35 threads. Now we can change that if we want to 75. We can save that and do the search again, and this time at the top here you can see it's now 75 active threads. And this is where you start playing around with the number of threads to find out where the sweet spot for your computer is. Obviously if you're on a really big massive Xeon Turbo Nutter Windows machine, then the number of threads can be 300, 400, 500 or maybe even more, and that machine will be able to cope if it's got enough memory and processing power. So it's up to you to sort of find the sweet spot for your machine and set the number of threads appropriately. And if we look at the log file on this one, That's 111. Okay, and again, if we change that now back to say 25 and do that again, so that was 111 files a second, and this one will probably be more than that, we would think. 25, and again you have to find out, like I say, for your machine what the best value is. That was 120, not much better. So let's do one more. Go config, let's put that to 60 and do that again. That looks a bit faster. There we go. Right, so let's see how long that took. No, oh no, it wasn't much faster. 125. Yeah, not many. So you have to play around with this, and this is because it's doing a lot of compound. It's doing a lot of compound matching. If we disable the compound matching and just did the normal search, it will be a lot quicker because it's not having to do all the compound matching. That does slow it down a little bit. Let's have a look. Oh, mind you, it's founding. It was finding quite a lot of, yeah, because Santa, you see, if we were to change that and just put the word Christmas in there as before, because every time it finds something like Santa, it has to extract it from the file and write it to the log file, which obviously takes time. So now with Santa, with Christmas, sorry, we've gone back in, we're back up to 200 files a second now. So again, this is the sort of thing you can play around with. Okay, so now I'll show you another feature called View Tags. If I load one here, Tag Search, which I prepared earlier. What Tag Search is an extremely powerful feature that allows you to encode the search, multiple searches, into a very simple string. Now if we view the tags, we will see that 1 is declared as colours, red, green and blue. 2 are the manufacturers of vehicles, cars, which is 2. So we are going to look here for a red Mini, a blue BMW, or something 1 with a space. I think there's a space there, with a space and then 2. Now at the moment, if we search, and also here we're saying it's got to be and the word Germany and 3 series. So let's see if we have anything with that in there. Probably will not have, unless I left it in from a previous demo. Now this will take a little bit longer as well, because the amount of work it's doing is significantly more than a single word. So I didn't find anything. Okay, so what this shows you here, these are all the combinations of the things it was looking for. So as you can see, it was looking for a lot more than just Christmas there. That's looking for, you know, a blue Mini, a blue Toyota, a blue Ford, with the word Germany, with the word 3 series. So it's looking for all that. Okay, so let's disable these and let's just see if I've left anything in there, red Mini or blue Mini or whatever, without the compound matching. No, it doesn't look like I have. So let's choose a file, and what we'll do, we'll change this to Santa, just so we bring all files up. So this should now find all 999 files, because they all have the word Santa in, which it has. It's found them all. Okay, and this list here, we'll just choose a file down here. So we're going to choose 381. So we're going to choose that, and in here I'm just going to put red Mini, and I'm going to put the word Germany in here, and I'm going to put the word 3 series in here. Okay, so we now have 3 series, Germany, and we also have, I think it was red Mini I put in here. There we go, red Mini in lowercase. So and that's in 381. So we'll save that and exit. So now, if I reload my tag search definition, hopefully it will find it. Let's go. That should be 318. There we go. So it's found 1. Let's hopefully it's 318. Yes, and it is 318 we can see from down here, which is good. Okay, we look at the log file, and this shows us down here. That's what it was looking for. All these combinations. It works all those out for you, and it found a red mini, and it found it once, and there we go. So that shows you how the tag feature works. Very, very powerful feature. There's lots of things you can do with Searchlight. One of the key features for Searchlight is the fact that you can actually search for a file of search words. So if we look for a file of search words, I have a search words file, and if I edit that file, I've got one here with some definitions in. So the search definition that we were making on the search screen, that definition can be saved multiple times within a file, and each one of those definitions can then be used and searched against all at the same time, which again not a lot of other programs do. Excuse me, I got a bit of a cold. Excuse me. So what actually is, a lot of programs will allow you to search for one word at a time, and then you'll search for that and it'll go away and it'll come back with the results, and it's not very useful really. It doesn't allow you to save the results or filter the results or anything. And Searchlight allows you to put multiple search definitions into a file, and that way, that if you are constantly want to search a network for a list of words, maybe keywords in a project, or maybe usernames or passwords, even if you want to search for the usernames with passwords in a network, then you can set it up to do that. So here we're looking for the word Santa, and it must have 3 series. We're looking for Santa, and it must have the word Christmas, and it's case sensitive. So these are all, and BMW is the other one. We're looking for BMW and 3 series. So if we exit that now notice this has been greyed out. This has been greyed out because the compound definitions have been associated with each search word definition held within this file that we just looked at by pressing the little edit pencil there. So if we search that, see what happens. (202). Yes, right, okay. So look at the log file. So it looked for Santa plus Christmas, Santa plus 3 series, BMW, blah blah blah. But what was causing all the hits was the word test. So the word test was found in these files quite a lot by the looks of it, which is surprising. I didn't know the word test would be in there, but it found test 400 times, so it must be the word testing. MetaLab testing services, that's why it was finding all those. So if we now edit the test and we disable it and we update that and save it, and then we run that again, then this time it will not load the test searches because that search has been disabled. And we say yes, and it just comes back now and finds these files, and this is actually the same file because this file is the only file that contains all those definitions, all the definitions that we're looking for. Santa with 3 series, that's actually in twice, so that one has got Santa with Christmas, Santa and 3 series, BMW and 3 series, but that was the only file that had all 3 in. So that's, this feature of having a file of search words is extremely powerful, because you can have multiple search word files, and if you want to search the network for a list of words associated with one thing, and then search the network with a list of words associated with something else, you can actually load a different search words file. You can have multiple search word files, and all you would do is you would go to Files, Search Words, and you would create a new search words file, and then you just select it and use it. Okay. Anyway, This gives you an introduction to Searchlight. There's lots and lots of different features and different things that I can show you, but I'll save that for another demo. I just wanted to give this short tutorial, even though it's been 30 minutes long, to give you a flavour on what Searchlight does, and if there's interest shown, if people are interested in this search engine, then let me know and I can do some more demos, or I can show you different things. Just basically thought I'd put this out there, see what the interest is. If you're interested, please leave feedback and I can do some more videos. And if you want a copy of this program, then email me down the bottom here, support@customcomputerprograms.com. Email me, I can send you a copy through a zip file and you can have a play yourself, see what you think. It's free for personal use. Yeah, hope you enjoyed the video, and if there's enough interest, I'll do some more. Okay, thank you.